Shoot! Piga kitu! Mtu bana, umetrain the whole time bana. Ni nini? Mtu bana. Trossard should have passed the ball early. Trossard, don't be a star, foolish. Even if you uko na one chance, pass it to the person who can score.
Boom! Here's a weekend review. Morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. This is Don from Kenya Goodness TV, and I'm here joining Kwame. Okay, Kwame, my bro, how you faring on, man? What's going on?
It was an excellent weekend. Countdown to the end of the Premier League. I mean, exciting times. The best league in the world. I mean, it's very difficult to know who's going to win the Premier League, and this is what makes the Premier League the best league in the world.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's been quite an eventful weekend. I mean, we're basically here to talk about everything that went on over the weekend, and quickly let's dive into Man City versus Arsenal. Man, what an interesting game. When I said interesting game, the fact that, we went to the Etihad, we picked a point. So think of it from this perspective. I mean, these guys came to the Emirates. We denied them points at the Emirates, not even a point. Then you went to Etihad and got a point from there. So technically, but this season, both home and away, statistically speaking, we're ahead of these guys. Yeah? So we're basically better than Man City. We came out with 4 points, yeah? So what did you make of this game, Kwame? It was... I think I was watching this game.
I think this is another situation where we can say it's a growth aspect to the team. I mean, for 58 games, Man City has never lost or has never failed to score. Not necessarily lost. They have never failed to score in 58 games at the Etihad.
Yeah.
But our boys, as young as they're the second youngest team in the league. They came in and gave a masterful defensive performance. And so for the casual observer, they might say that it was a boring, drab game. For the purists, they know that the master, who is Pep Guardiola, and the apprentice, who's Mikel Arteta, cancelled each other out in a chess match. So it was very tactical. It was a stalemate kind of. So Man City was unable to find the back of the net or even a clear open chance. Arsenal had very little possession, and so they were playing on the counter attack, but they made sure that they shut out Haaland's, and so Haaland again, for the third time this season, was pocketed by the dynamic duo of Gabriel and Saliba. And Saliba got the man of the match, but it could easily have been Gabriel as well. He was frustrated, and so 3 games in a row, Erling Haaland hardly getting a shot on target. I think that was masterful by the boys. So that was an excellent game. With regard to Arsenal, the only negative point I'd say for Arsenal is that we could have nicked the game because the clear-cut chances were to Arsenal, and Jesus and Trossard were very wasteful, and Jesus was very wasteful. I mean, you could tell from the reactions, people were very disappointed with Jesus. The few chances we got, for a team like Man City, you hardly get any chances. And he failed to take them. And so while Gabriel and Saliba pocketed Haaland, the few chances we had, we were wasteful. But I know since we were used to being hammered there, I think psychologically the team did very well. Some might argue, was it a point, a well-earned point by Arsenal, or was it a missed opportunity to win 3 points? According to me, based off the previous results, I can say that was a well-earned point. Overall, aggregate-wise, we got 4 points, Man City,
Yes.
from the 2 legs, only got 1 point. So
1 point. We're 3 points
who's
ahead.
the winner? Yeah. So
Yeah.
So to me, that's how I can talk about it. Yeah.
No, 100%, 100%. Actually, what you're speaking is facts. You mentioned Erling Haaland. That's one player, by the way, that I basically want us to talk about. This guy, by the way, in fact, even when I was watching Super Sport, no Super Sport, Sky Sports. Roy Keane actually cooked this guy. You talk about this guy, but they being a goal scorer, but looking at him overall wise, in terms of what he contributes in the field, he looks like a League Two player. And basically, just shows you one thing: this guy, Saliba, Gabriel, have nullified this guy, and it's so interesting how guys have been saying that with De Bruyne. In fact, even when I saw De Bruyne, we're not actually sure if KDB was actually going to play this game. But seeing him there, but they got scared because it's like KDB and Haaland, those guys have one of the best chemistries. But for some reason, these guys were pocketed. Yeah. So Haaland,
in fact, just to add to your point, I know the focus was on Haaland because of his price tag and the way he was prolific in Dortmund and the way he started off the season scoring many goals. But if we think about this game critically, Foden was pocketed, De Bruyne was pocketed, Bernardo Silva was pocketed, Grealish was pocketed, Doku was pocketed. All those people had no shot on target. So we can focus and use Haaland as the main person. But all other guys in the game, nobody. Ake, a defender, was through a set piece. That was the only one clear chance. All the others were just being shooting from far. The shot that you could say was a shot and it was not on target was Kovacic. But De Bruyne, Grealish, Bernardo Silva, Doku, all in fact, Doku was pocketed by Tomiyasu. So masterful defensive performance. The negative part for us was just not like the possession was 27%. That is not acceptable. But given how we've been losing, I mean, all the time we go to the Etihad. I think this is one of the growth aspects of the team. Like the team has mentally, psychologically grown because assuming it was the Champions League quarterfinals, if we were playing with Man City, would have kicked them out. Essentially, would have beaten them at our home and then drawn. So in case we meet them ahead, now we know how to beat them. So for me, I think this is a good prelude because we don't know if Man City kicks out Real Madrid, there's a chance to meet at the semifinals with Man City.
If we beat Bayern.
So this is a good thing to look forward to. I have nothing negative to say about them. It's very easy for us to criticize here from the chair. I mean, from home or from the office. But when you consider how young these guys are and the kind of pressure we were facing, literally, we lacked composure in terms of passing. But I understand Arteta. If we dropped points, it would have been 4 points. Would have been how many points? Like 4 points. Is it 4 or 3 points less than Liverpool?
Would have been basically 3 points. 3 points below Man City. And 2 points below Liverpool. So basically, but they would have been number 3 right now, according to the rankings.
So for Arteta, not losing the game was the priority. And Arteta did his job because if Trossard just passed the ball to Martinelli, the game would be different. If Jesus was not selfish and just did the decisive pass, give the free man to score. But it's easy speaking when the crowd is shouting, when you are in the field, it's very hard to whatever. So I think, overall, I think the loser here is Man City because on the 2 legs we came off with 4 points. They only came up with 1. So the winner, I believe, overall we did better.
And Man City fans have been salty. I've been having some couple of friends of mine, but they chatting me up. Telling me how they'd rather have Liverpool win than Man City than Arsenal. Hey, mother, why do guys hate Arsenal? What do you do to guys that guys really hate Arsenal? Chelsea fans. I mean, the question that I actually want to ask you guys in the comment section. Yeah, if a football fan, would you rather have Liverpool, yeah, or Arsenal win it in case Man City doesn't win it? Why do guys hate us so much? What have we done? What I mean, why are guys so salty? Why are guys? I don't know. Is it because we were the only team, but in the Premier League that have done the invincible? I don't know. But anyway, speaking of just speaking of this game, it's very rare to see Arsenal play the way they played against Man City. One might say it's a negative football style because basically when we went to the Etihad, Kwame, by the way, parked the bus. Bro, our defense, it's so rare but to see Arsenal play in that style. It just proved one thing. Mikel basically he's beginning to understand the Premier League. When you're meeting with this team, you need to apply different tactics. And because Man City, by the way, attack-wise, they are a serious attacking team. Yeah. But
we didn't have the personnel.
Yes.
I mean, Jonino, when you're subbed is when both of you are asking ourselves. Jonino was in the field. He was virtually lost. And I know because we were being battered there so many times. Arteta chose to. Actually, Arteta's plan was counter-attack. The idea was to defend, so that you see they were becoming overconfident and coming to try and crowd us into our box.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
get them on the counter.
Because so now we hit them on the counter, and Odegaard was able to pass through the ball to Trossard, and we were able to break a few times. So I know that was the main plan of Arteta. Defend, make them feel safe. And now once they create, they allow us to have space between the lines, then we do a quick counter because we knew Martinelli is super fast. So the idea was to make them tired. So once they're tired, then bring on Martinelli, then catch them on the break because they think now we have surrendered the possession, and so they'll be careless. And that's what happened. So imagine if Trossard had scored that goal. The game would have changed. And
the funny thing is, when the opportunity that we had when Trossard almost scored was at the 90th minute plus, 90 minutes plus, if I'm not wrong, would have easily won that game. I mean, Trossard, they're already tired. Actually, by the way, come to think of it,
Trossard was fresh.
The first leg, the first half. Hey Man City. Remember, I was telling you, these guys, when you're not even crossing our half, these guys were basically on our faces the whole time. These guys are breathing in front of our faces. But then if you notice the second half, we got in the game and we actually even started challenging, even started going forward. I mean, those chances we wasted, by the way, for sure, by the way, yes, we got a point. But to be honest, Kwame, honestly speaking, this is a game that we ought to have won. If you only took our chances, Jesus and Trossard, if we basically took our chances, believe me, but they would have been different conversation. But anyway, it is what it is. I don't know if you have anything else you want to add on to that Man City versus Arsenal. All right, so about the City versus Arsenal game done and dusted. We now go to some teams that people are not really looking at, but the teams that if you don't really watch out for them, they could actually even now end up even spoiling the whole thing for you. And that is basically Aston Villa and Spurs. You already know what happened over the weekend. So basically, Spurs beat Luton 2-1, despite the fact of them being 1-0 behind. I mean, those guys have Sonny, and Sonny is just something else. But I'm at a place. I'm like, if Kane remained at Arsenal with the current coach, but then Spurs would have been extremely a team that to look out for. And the new coach, but they definitely, it's a team that is actually going to give guys a rough time come next season because they're playing very well. Spurs is actually playing very well. Then you go to Aston Villa. Good evening. You already know. They beat Wolves. They beat Wolves 2-0. Yeah, so I mean, these are teams. These are basically the dark horses, and these are teams that if you don't look out for, they could actually end up spoiling things for you. Remember last season, by the way, when you drew 3 games. Imagine the last thing. I don't even want to imagine this. Imagine us losing. Worst case scenario, God forbid, losing 3 games at a row. A team like Spurs, but they could even catch up with us because they're basically in the top 4 right now. And looking at Luton, it's same thing on their end. So these are the dark horses. Kwame, what do you make of it?
Um, I just think that whoever wants to win the Premier League and whoever wants to play in the top four needs to make sure that they don't drop points. As
Yeah.
we speak, Aston Villa is only 5 points behind Man City, but they have a game. They are a game ahead. They have played 30 games, right?
Yep.
So, but for Tottenham, they are at 56. So 56. That Man City's been having 64 points. That's a difference of 4 plus
Yeah.
4 plus 4. That's 8 points. So that means if you lose 3 games, or if you draw 3 games and they win their 3 games,
Yep.
it can affect. So essentially, I like the healthy lead uh, Arsenal has, because 65 between us and Tottenham.
Yep.
The distance is 5 plus 4, so that's 9.
Yep.
9.
Yep.
So 3 times 3 is 9. So that means
Yep.
for us, if we lose 3 games in a row, Tottenham catches up with us. So that goes to show you how tight it is. So this thing can change very quickly. Right now, we're talking about Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City.
Yeah.
But if a team goes off form, like the way Arsenal drew 3 games last season towards the end,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then lost some critical games. This is now what we need to avoid. But I know that with the defense we have, that's why they say defenses win titles and goals win matches. The defensive display we showed against, if we could sustain the pressure of Man City, and we are not playing Liverpool, I don't fear anybody. And Partey has come back. They have had a good run with Man City. Tomiyasu has had a good run. Remember, also these other teams could potentially get injuries. So it's just about game management. So these dark horses, we can't ignore them. Remember, we have 9 games left, and all you need to do is lose 3 games in a row. And if these other teams, that the number 4 is Aston Villa, number 5 is Tottenham, although Aston Villa has played 30 games, but the Liverpool, Arsenal, and Tottenham have played 29. So for me, this gives me some security in terms of securing the top 4, but in terms of going out of the running of the winning the Premier League, you just need to lose 2 games, and then there's a big gap. So this the dark horses, we need to watch them, because they can be the eventual spoilers, and that's why we are calling them the dark horses. Because we are meeting Aston Villa, we are meeting Tottenham, and on a good day they can beat any team. So and you see, like with Arsenal, we don't have like an out and out striker. They have Sonny and Watkins. So we have to be wary of Unai Emery. Yeah, he's more seasoned. I think his English has improved. I think with Arsenal, he was not able to connect. He was not able to connect with the players properly. We used to make fun of him and used to say good evening, good evening, good evening. And Postecoglou, good attacking football, but he's still learning the league. He's doing, I think, even better than Arsenal. For his first season, he's number 5 at the moment. And he still has a chance. If all the top 3 lose games, Tottenham can win. If they lose 5 games in a row, Tottenham can win the league. So
but that is not happening.
He has a mathematical chance. That's a mathematical chance.
Yeah. But let me, talking of the Spurs coach, Big Ange. This guy came over there from he was from the Scottish Premier League. He was actually
Celtic.
I think it was the Celtic coach. It's so interesting how this guy has come in and has fitted in instantly. It usually takes coaches time to, but they, especially when a coach, even Pep, when you come from a different league, then come to the Premier League, it's completely different. But I mean, what Big Ange Bada has done with the Spurs in the time he's been given is completely.
Because Arsenal, the first time Arteta was there, we were number 8.
We were number 8.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time Bada Pep came to the Premier League, he struggled. I remember Pep used to finish number. Yeah. So this big Ange guy, He's somebody to look for. By this guy, believe me, Spurs in the next season, of course, they have a history of bottling and a history of their cabinet is actually empty. But
Yeah,
could Big Ange be the guy to actually win these days trophies? But he's somebody but that you definitely have to look in.
yeah,
For
yeah.
good winning, yes, he's a good coach. In fact,
Luton scored.
surprisingly,
Luton scored. mm, Sorry, Luton scored the first goal, and they
yeah,
almost they could have Luton. They scared them because they scored fast, and so they
yeah,
struggled to score one and then to win the game. Aston
yeah,
Villa won their game fairly easily.
yeah,
So yeah, but they could be the spoilers because Tottenham don't have the Champions League to think about.
yeah. And think of
And
it,
and I don't- and I, yeah.
think of it from this perspective. When we met Aston Villa at Villa Park, they beat us 1-0. I think that was one of the most unfair ref games I think I've ever watched. So annoying. We scored a goal, it was disallowed. And then Spurs, we made it Spursy at Emirates. Fun enough, we drew it Spursy. Now Spursy away. Hey, yani, are you confident actually when you meet these two teams? Because I think looking at around right now, these are the two toughest teams that we have on our list: Spurs and Aston Villa.
I want them to take points away from Man City and Liverpool. So
Yeah,
that's my prayer. So
yeah,
I hope they don't get injuries because if say they get an injury to Sony,
hmm,
then it can be difficult. But
yeah,
considering that we've managed to survive Man City in their home ground
yeah,
and for 58 games, making them not have a clear shot on just one shot on target and no goals for the first time in
yeah,
58 games. I'm not too worried. I'm not too worried about
yeah.
Arsenal. So long as we are not arrogant, I think we could shock people. Yeah, because we are not playing any top three team. We are not playing
Yeah,
Liverpool. We're not playing Man City. So
yeah.
though our games are not easy, we have but if we can deal with Man City, I fear nobody.
Mm.
I fear nobody. Yeah.
No, 100%. That's done and dusted. Now we move to one interesting topic. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Oh, how money, but it's never about the money. Let's talk about Chelsea. Let's talk about United. Let me tell you one thing. If you watch the game over the weekend, Chelsea, one of the most disappointing, okay, not even disappointing. I'm not a Chelsea fan, but from a football perspective, I'm just trying to imagine by there being a Chelsea fan right now watching a team play that they're playing. These guys got the coach send off. These guys had a player, they got the Luton player send off. Both the coach, but then the player were red card at the same time, and that game was refed so unfairly. And despite the fact that not Luton, I'm missing out. Despite the fact
Burnley.
that Burnley,
Burnley.
Burnley, despite the fact that Burnley was actually one man down, and also the coach, by the way, being sent off, these guys drew with Chelsea. Chelsea, £1 billion. Then you guys are drawing with a relegation team. Now, leaving that alone, we go to United. Honestly speaking, Kwame, if United actually won that game against
I
Brentford,
watched that. Brentford actually missed
yeah,
a couple of chances. Man
they
United
missed,
didn't
yeah,
they didn't have that many shots. Actually, the dangerous team. Actually,
yeah,
Ivan Toney scored a goal that was disallowed as offside, but
yeah,
could be argued as a clear goal. Yeah. So Brentford
yeah,
dominated actually. If you watch that the highlights,
yeah,
Brentford actually dominated that game, and for the first time, this mighty the teams you're calling the mighty. You remember the Man United
mm,
used to whip us. Chelsea used to whip us. Now
yeah.
Chelsea draws with a relegation
The
candidate.
relegation team,
Man
yeah, relegation
United
candidates,
is
yeah,
dominated by Brentford,
Brentford, yeah,
right? Yeah, and so who would have thought, how times have changed. Now the mighty Man United is now just a mid-table team because they're not
yeah,
even fighting for the Champions League anymore, and they spent more money
yeah,
than us. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
but
yeah,
we are facing them. We are going to Old Trafford. We're
yeah,
going to Old Trafford, and they have a way of sometimes beating us. So I hope their confidence will lower so that we can
yeah,
take advantage of them. Yeah, and that's why I said like
yeah,
our Arsenal's remaining games they're not easy. But
Yeah.
I think Porto, Man City, Liverpool, all those experiences can help us beat these guys. If they are drawing, if Man United is drawing with Brentford, I don't see why we can't go to their home and beat them.
But let me tell you what, let me say this, Kwame, by the, United, Man U is actually a very funny team. They could be at their worst, even if you watch the game they played versus Liverpool in the FA. Honestly speaking, they're their worst. They played shit. The football is shit. There's no tactics. In fact, I don't even understand Ten Hag's ball at all. I've been watching Manu play, and I don't understand by the how those guys are playing at all. They're just all over the
They still
place.
don't have an identity. They still don't have
They
an
still,
identity.
yeah, they still don't have an identity. But the funny thing about Manu, despite the fact of all this disorganization and all this jumping all over the place, Man U is a team that could actually really, really surprise you. Who knew that by the Man U would beat Liverpool and kick them out of the FA? So Man U is a team, as despite the fact of them being disorganized, is a team that you can't write off, especially at Old Trafford. And you know our history, by the way, with Man U at Old Trafford. It's never
Yeah,
rosy over there. It's never
yeah,
rosy.
yeah.
When was the last time we actually beat Man U at Old Trafford? We have a very poor record by the Old Trafford. But looking at this team right now, looking at Arsenal they are playing, I'm confident, but they can go there. Actually, we need to go there by then win. Because this season, what's stopping us? We'll be breaking all the curses. We broke the City curse. We broke the FC Porto curse, the Champions League curse. We broke the Everton curse. So why not go to United? In fact, right now they're the worst. So it's a team that you can easily
In
beat.
fact, the only team that I genuinely fear is Liverpool and
Yeah,
Man City. So long
yeah,
as we don't get an injury to Rice
yeah,
and Odegaard, I think we can cope and we can
yeah,
actually shock them. The happiest moment for me is that I saw Martinelli come into the field, even if it was for a short
oh yeah,
time,
yeah,
because you've noticed when Martinelli comes in, we become very dangerous because of his pace. So even
yes,
so I think that's something that I pray doesn't happen. So long as we don't get injuries to our key wingers,
yeah,
Saka was off form. Yeah, so I believe if Saka was on point, the
yeah,
game would have been slightly different. Saka was, because we couldn't trust Reece Nelson. So
yeah,
yeah, so that's it.
yeah.
So sad times. Oh, poor Chelsea and Man United, when you cry babies and everything. I don't feel sorry for you, man. I remember we used to be a laughing stock, and so I don't feel any. I have no apologies. You guys,
Yeah,
you can even shift to
yeah,
come and support us. But I feel sorry for those two
yeah.
teams.
And it's funny how I'm trying to understand, because you remember Arsenal, with back in the days when I was struggling, with during the Wenger time, it was more like a financial thing. We didn't have the right players. We didn't have basically the structure of the company was completely poor. But looking at Man U, those guys have money. Looking at Chelsea, they spend money. But the funny thing is, the Premier League has proved one thing. You could be having all the money, you could be splashing all the money. In fact, the guys have actually even destroyed the market, the transfer market in the Premier League is Chelsea and Man U. But you see, you could be having all the money,
Yeah,
but Man
because
U,
during the transfer break for January, we wanted
yeah,
to buy a
yeah,
striker, but
yeah.
Ivan Toney for £100 million at 28 doesn't make sense. Yeah,
It doesn't
so
make sense.
by the whole January transfer window, I don't
Yeah.
think there was any purchase. Was there any purchase in January?
I think only
I
Spurs are the
think
ones who purchased. It was only Spurs who
yeah,
purchased.
but
It was actually a
they
very
purchased.
quiet. It was actually a very
Yeah,
quiet January window. But
transfer
these guys
window.
have
Yeah.
destroyed the financial market. But it just proved one thing: you could be having all the money, you could splash all the money before our heads and whatnot, but money does not bring cohesion in a team. Money does not bring cohesion in a team.
Yeah,
100%.
true.
So money but has become the
And even
graveyard.
Ten Hag has been a crybaby. He keeps on saying, "Oh, we get good refereeing decisions." Have you seen
What
how
is it?
Ten
What
Hag
is it?
always complains about Arsenal, and you can't even compare the difference in points? Huh?
Well,
Yeah.
I
So yeah.
even saw, he was talking about when was the last time we met Manu? Last year, towards the beginning of the season, the guy is still complaining about what Jesus do to was it Evans or who's the guy who's still sliding out to now? The guy is still salty and complaining over that. Man, these guys have
Yeah.
just become completely useless. But anyway, I think that's it. But there, as far as the weekend review is concerned, we now go to the summary bit part of it. So I'll just project this here, check it out on the screen of I don't know, Kwame, if you want to maybe just talk about that.
Yes. Just there was not it was not too eventful. I know a lot of these relegation teams are fighting for survival, and so it's not a clear cut. I know it's not a clear cut. There'll be a lot of surprises as we approach the what do you call it? As we approach
the end of the EPL,
the end of the league, and so I know we'll face very many surprises. So I'm trying to look.
As you're trying to look for that, let me just quickly read the top 4 teams in the Premier League right now, and then also read the bottom 3 teams in the relegation right now. So basically, of course, Liverpool is 67 points at number 1, followed by Arsenal is 65, then Man City 64, then Aston Villa has 59 points. And then if you go to the bottom of the table, we have Sheffield. Definitely, but Sheffield is going to be relegated. Sheffield has 15 points with 29 games played. Burnley has 18 points with 30 games played. Then you have Luton with 30 games played at 22 points. And let me just mention this: Nottingham Forest. Actually, I'll project this on the screen. You guys can check it out. Nottingham Forest is also at 22 points, tied with Luton Town. The only thing is the goal difference. They're ahead of Luton Town because of goal difference. But one team,
so there's a major fight there at the bottom. There's a major fight.
There's a major fight. And let me just say this: to be honest, Kwame, I would really want Luton to remain in the Premier League. If there's a team that I don't want to see get relegated, but there's Luton, because these guys are fighters. In fact, we're meeting these guys. We're meeting Luton Town this Wednesday, tomorrow actually. And Luton Town, the first leg we made these guys, hey Bana. If not for Declan Rice, would have drawn that game. They gave us hell.
Yeah.
So they're fighters. I mean, I like the coach. He seems like a very chill,
good thing,
guy.
Good thing. I think we are playing them. We are playing them at home.
Yeah, we're playing them at home. Yeah.
Remember the last time we played at their home ground.
Yeah.
So this time they're coming. They're coming to the Emirates. So that's that. So of course another, and I don't know whether you've mentioned Newcastle versus West Ham. Newcastle got a red card, but they still won 4-3. Another thing, Chelsea drew with Fulham. I mean, Sheffield United drew with Fulham 3-3. Nottingham Forest versus Crystal Palace 1-1. Bournemouth versus Everton. Bournemouth won 2-1. Which other team haven't we mentioned? Yeah, so I think we've covered all the other teams. So as you've correctly put it, by discussing the table, there are a lot of teams. Like the bottom team, there's no big gap. If a team loses 2 games, they go to the bottom. So it's very tight. Even if you look at on the table and you look at Brentford, they have also had some bad results. So they're not too far also from the bottom 3. So I think some of those teams at the bottom might be. That's why I'm not too worried about our games. Our games seem harder on paper, but you'll notice that the hardest games are the people fighting for relegation. So they just might surprise a few people. Yeah, because they are playing.
And these relegation teams, but they are hey. If there's any team that you don't want to write off and you want to go well prepared, but they're these relegation teams. Despite the fact, a team like Sheffield, you remember Southampton? Despite the fact that they're already relegated before even the season ended. You remember what these guys did to us? Walcott scored. These relegation teams, I'll even give an example of QPR. Remember when Aguero, when Man City was almost bottling the league, when they still had was it Mancini?
Yes.
Was it Mancini? Yeah, I think. You remember what QPR actually did to Man City when Aguero actually scored the winning goal in 2011-2012 season.
Yes.
So these relegation teams are teams that you cannot write off. Very, very.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. On paper, people can say Arsenal has tough games, but you see, the teams we are playing, they are not fighting for relegation, apart from maybe Luton Town. But Brighton, Nottingham Forest, Wolves, Fulham, Tottenham, they are all going to survive. So for them, they are playing, but they have no worry of not surviving. So we might actually just beat all of them. But when you look at Liverpool's side, they have they actually Liverpool also have Sheffield United. You see, they have Man United away. They have Crystal Palace, but Crystal Palace I don't think is fighting for relegation. They also have a fair bit of games. Actually,
yeah, they do.
Yeah, actually, when I look at the top three, it's not that easy. By the way,
it's not that easy. People might be thinking of the top 4 teams, thinking of Aston Villa, Spurs, but people are quickly forgetting the relegation teams, especially the most dangerous teams right now. Luton Town, Nottingham Forest. You don't want to meet those guys. Thank God, by the way, we are done with Nottingham Forest. We now need to go tomorrow and finish up with this Luton Town team. But these relegation teams, especially Luton Town, because you see, basically Luton Town and Nottingham Forest, they're basically,
But right, we are not done. We are not done with. Okay, yeah, we are done. Yeah, we don't have Nottingham Forest.
We don't have Nottingham Forest.
Yeah. But remember, Man City have Nottingham Forest away. They have Brighton away. They have Fulham. Fulham has beat the big teams, many of the big teams away. So, and then they have Tottenham away. So I don't know. We just might nick this thing because the teams we are playing, they are not threatened for survival. We have Aston Villa, we have Wolves, we have Chelsea, we have Tottenham, we have Bournemouth, we have Man United, we have Everton. None of them are fighting for survival. So it's just that it's not an exact science, but I think if you're not fighting for survival, I think we have a good chance of beating some of these teams.
So we do have a good chance. And I think we come to the end of the conversation. So let me just say this before we wrap this up. And this is now the part where we now put the tereng sound effects and whatnot. But when the business end by way of wrapping up the season, last year, and I'm not talking about that to Arsenal fans, Kwame, you included, last year we did this thing, we came very, very close, but to injuries, Saliba got injured and whatnot. We somehow capitulated. It's been a common word by pundits and most fans capitulating. Arsenal has a tendency of capitulating, but I believe looking at our team right now, luck is on our side. If you look at the games we played, that guys expected us to lose, guys expected us to be beaten by FC Porto and being thrown out of the Champions League. These guys came to the Emirates to beat them in the penalties.
Liverpool as well. We drew with Liverpool at Anfield.
Yes, we drew Liverpool at Anfield.
We've gone with Man City.
We've gone with Man City, but at Etihad.
So from Liverpool, we took 4 points. Man City, 4 points. Yeah.
We went to Goodison Park, Everton. The last time we beat these guys, but at Everton was, I don't remember the last time we beat them apart from this.
They're a bogey team for us.
Yeah, but it's been hell. So basically, what I'm trying to say is we've been breaking curses this season. So, and for some reason, I just feel like there's just this gut feeling in me telling me that for some reason, luck is on our side. Guys keep on writing us off. Guys will keep on.
I don't even think it's luck. I tell you why I don't think it's luck. I don't think it's luck because finishing number 8 in the first season, that was our first experience of not even being anywhere near the Champions League. Then we were number 5 in the league. We just we went very well. Then we dropped points in the final hurdle. Didn't go to the Champions League. Right. Then we've been kicked out of the quarterfinals and I think the semifinals of the Europa League twice.
Yep.
Right. Sporting Lisbon, Seville kicked us out. Yeah. So we have that pain of nearly reaching a cup, being kicked out. And that's when Arteta decided, I need to tighten our defense. Because if your defense is leaky, You cannot play like basketball where score 3, I score 3, score 2, you're not in control. And that's why he keeps on talking about game management. We managed Man City. We managed Liverpool. So in terms of game management, I think Arteta now has different ways of playing. And our players have at least some experience in terms of handling high-pressure games, you see. If you recall, back at that time, there was a lot of mistakes in Gabriel more than Saliba. Like in big games, he'd foul, he'd get a red card, he would get a silly yellow, he'd create a dangerous situation for set pieces. So in a tight game, Arsenal has shown we can score in set pieces. We've scored more than 18 goals in 8 pieces. 18 goals in 8 pieces. Just look at that record. That's crazy. I mean, scoring goals by 8 pieces. Our corners are like indirect penalties. So in terms of our growth, I think you use the word luck, but I wouldn't say it's luck. I'd say we have gone through a learning curve. There's a cycle there, a learning curve in terms of.
I agree 100%.
How to play differently when you're playing superior teams like Man City. How to play. I mean, because before we could just use Jesus. Now Jesus, when he sits on the bench, we are not worried. Before, Jesus was everything.
Yeah.
Zinchenko was everything. But now we have different ways of playing. We are more tough, like physically. We are not. We used to be bullied by the Mustafis and Kolasinats. Used to be bullied. Right now,
we are resilient.
There's no bullying. We are the ones bullying. You can imagine for 3 games. For 3 games, Haaland has had 0 shot on target. 3 games this season. So for me, I know they will draw strength from that and use it. And that's what I'm saying. For any team that takes us for granted, I think the games we've played between now and where we are right now, the Porto game, the Man City games, the Liverpool games, they have prepared us for the run-in for the Premier League and the run-in for the Champions League.
Yep.
Yeah, because remember, Bayern are coming to Arsenal and they're not going to have fans. The stadium will be only Arsenal fans. Bayern, they were beaten by Dortmund the other day, 2-0. Tuchel literally said that he has given up, and it's true. Like now they were 10 points behind. Now they should be maybe 13 points from the league leaders, Bayer Leverkusen. Yeah. So I think Bayern will beat Bayern. Because the whole stadium for Arsenal, and then playing at home, they don't have their fans. We should score comfortably. I hope we score 3-4-0 so that when you go to Bayern, we just do a game management, Man City style. Because now, you see Arteta before he was naive. He tried to attack. So I think they come to the Emirates. We attack. Then we do a Man City game plan, play on the counter at Bayern.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think we can manage that. Now, if we can go and survive in Porto, I don't see why we can't go to Bayern
and survive.
And draw. And worst case scenario, lose 1-0. So that means, because we are in the quarterfinals of the UCL.
Yep.
Right? So that means, technically, we have an easy run to the semi-final. Yep. Right? I know it sounds funny to people. Bayern is still Bayern, but they are not playing the way they are playing. Right now Bayern is struggling. And potentially we could meet Man City. So remember, right now, this whatever has happened right now in this weekend preview, this was preparation for meeting them if they beat Real Madrid. So that's what I'm saying. This is a tight contest. I know that Man City has to play 7 games in 21 days. We're also going to be playing every 3 days, right?
Right.
Thankfully for us, we've had our injured players come back. This is Partey, Tomiyasu, come back, right? Luckily, Martinelli is not hurt. But look at Man City. Kyle Walker is hurt. Stones is hurt, right? De Bruyne is struggling, but he's injured. So that's what I'm saying. That's where now I think we have some luck. We have some luck. So I just think we just might shock some people. We just might shock some people. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, my brother.
Fingers crossed. As Robbie from FTV said, believe.
Believe.
So let's keep
Believe.
let's keep believing. Anyway, guys, for the guys who tuned in, for the guys who are actually going to check this out, just ensure you like, share, subscribe. The road right now, but is almost to 1,000 subscribers. We are 24 guys away from 1,000 subscribers. Just ensure you like, just ensure you share. Tell a friend. And Kwame, it's been nice having you here. I'll be seeing you on the next one. See you tomorrow, brother, for the Luton game. Come on, you Gunners.
Come on, you Gunners.
All right.